Om. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Sri Dakshinamurti Sudeshikendram Dvaipayanam Sutrakritam Munindram Sri Shankaram Bhashyakritam Yatindram Maddeshi Kanchapi Namami Vidyai. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsarishibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhyah Sarvopa Plavarahita Prajnana Ganaha Pratyagarto Brahmaivahamasmi. Om Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Jnana Mudraya Krishnaya Gita Amritaduhe Namaha. Pranams everyone. We are in the third chapter, Sloka number 3. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Dvivida Nishta Pura Prokta Maya Naga Jnāna Yogena Sankyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam Lokesmin Dvivida Nishta Pura Prokta Maya Naga Jnāna Yogena Sankyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. So what has happened so far? Arjuna had actually asked a question to Bhagavan. He had said, Jyayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani gore mam niyojayasi keshava. He had said, oh Bhagavan, you had said that the self-knowledge, the Jnāna Yoga is considered to be superior than actions. If so, then why are you engaging me, asking me to engage myself in this cruel action? And then that was in the first sloka. Then in the second sloka, he had actually said, his Shraddha came to the fore, and where he said, through your seemingly contradictory statements, and we saw in the last class what are those contradictory slokas according to Arjuna. So through those seemingly contradictory statements, you are as if confusing my intellect. Mohesi me buddhim, he said. And he also said to Arjuna, to Bhagavan, finally he said, Ekam tat ena aham apnuyam shreyaha vada nishchitya. Tell me definitely ekam tat, one of those two. Either you ask me to take up Jnana Yoga or ask me to engage myself in action. Tell me which one is good for me. Aham apnuyam shreyaha, so that I will attain the supreme good. I will attain moksha. So Arjuna is expecting a direct answer from Bhagavan, but Bhagavan is not going to give a direct answer. Bhagavan wants to teach him, wants to address the issue. He does not give a one-word answer. Bhagavan is going to give a detailed answer. So, Lokesmin dvida nishta pura prokta mayanaga jnana yogena sankyanam karma yogena yoginam is how Bhagavan starts his teaching. And this is a very important sloka. This is a foundation for this chapter also. So what we will do is we will try to understand what Bhagavan wants to give as an answer. We will try to understand before Arjuna what Bhagavan wants to convey. And then we will go into the teaching. So remember, Bhagavan had criticized karma. He had criticized karma and he had glorified jnana. That is true. Bhagavan had always criticized actions and glorified jnana, knowledge. But Bhagavan had criticized only actions, karma. He had not criticized Karma Yoga. How do we know that? Because Bhagavan had actually praised Karma Yoga at the beginning, when he actually introduced Karma Yoga. The first thing he did was he praised Karma Yoga. He started the section by praising Karma Yoga. He did a Karma Yoga stuti. And that is where in 240 he said, Nehabhi kramano shausti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamabhyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Sloka 40 in the second chapter, where he had praised Karma Yoga. So if Arjuna had thought that Bhagavan had criticized Karma Yoga, then it is wrong. He had only criticized karma. So he had criticized karma, but the same karma, if it is practiced or performed with the attitude of Karma Yoga, he had praised that. So that is the first point. Now the second point is, even if assuming that Arjuna had understood this properly, as in Bhagavan had actually praised both Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, even then here there could be confusion for him, saying that Bhagavan, you had said moksha is possible only through Jnana Yoga and not through Karma Yoga. So why are you asking me to do Karma Yoga? Should you not be asking me to do Jnana Yoga? So that could be the second point that Arjuna could have. Second doubt. Although Arjuna is not meaning that. Arjuna is clear that he is only comparing between jnana and karma. So even if he had said that, okay, I am actually comparing Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga is the one that is actually will give me moksha and not Karma Yoga, why are you asking me to do Karma Yoga? Then the direct answer for that is, Bhagavan's direct answer could be, Arjuna, you are not qualified for Jnana Yoga. You will have to undergo Karma Yoga as a sadhana, qualify yourself, and then come to Jnana Yoga. So Bhagavan is telling Arjuna, moksha is through Jnana Yoga, but do Karma Yoga. And how do we understand this? It is similar to telling a 10th standard student, saying 12th standard mark is important, therefore study your 10th standard well. The reason is, we cannot ask him to appear for 12th standard directly, because he has now only qualified for the 10th standard. And the 10th standard is not an end by itself also. So there is something higher after that. So in the same way, Karma Yoga is not an end by itself, but Karma Yoga is a necessary step. And Bhagavan is going to give that knowledge only in the coming slokas. Bhagavan could have simply said, Arjuna, do Karma Yoga. And Arjuna, in this state of mind, would have just followed it. But Bhagavan does not do that. Why? Because in our Shastras, we do not believe in direct commandments. There are commandments given for children. At an early stage of our lives, there are commandments which we say, do as per the Shastras, whatever it says, when we are not in a position to understand things. But as we deal with grown-up people, we should not and we cannot give orders. Because even if they follow, they will only follow for a few days, out of fear or out of respect, out of love, whatever it is. Beyond that, they will drop those actions. So, we should explain, give upadesha. So that's why the important thing is for us to know the Shastras. If we are going to tell our children, do this, because I say so, because Shastras say so, they would not agree to that. So it is important that we understand Shastras. It's easy to blame the next generation and say that they are not following what we are saying or our Shastras. What is important is for us to know the Shastras and be the person who should be taking this from the previous generation and giving it to the next generation. It is our responsibility. And generally speaking, as human beings, we crave for knowledge. Our intellect craves for knowledge. And anything that we do only if we are convinced to do. So this advice, this commandment will have all of its shortcomings. And that's why Bhagavan does not give a commandment here. He is teaching here. Now we'll see what Bhagavan says in this section. We will also be noticing that Bhagavan is not giving any direct answer to Arjuna's question at all. And what Bhagavan will be doing is actually giving some fundamental knowledge, and from that knowledge we will be able to infer what should be the answer. And the answer is, we already discussed, Arjuna, you are only qualified to do Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga will give your mind purity, and you will be qualified for the next step, which is Jnana Yoga. And only after completing your Karma Yoga, you can come to Jnana Yoga, get the knowledge and attain moksha. That is the answer. Now, before that, what are the fundamental points that Bhagavan is giving in this sloka? First, in these set of slokas, Bhagavan is giving some practical points. Practical points as in that we all experience in our life. So here are some practical things that Bhagavad Gita gives. Bhagavad Gita is related to practical life. Some people have this feeling, Bhagavad Gita is only for theoretical knowledge, or it is only for people who are living in the forest, or it is only for sannyasis, or it is only for people who are not householders, or only for retirees. That is not true. Bhagavad Gita is related to every aspect of practical life that we encounter here. We will do some vichara on the points that Bhagavan is making here before we go into the sloka. First, Bhagavan is introducing two important topics here. In this set of slokas, especially in this sloka, he is introducing two important topics. One, Sādana dvayam. Sādana dvayam. The second one is Nishtha dvayam. Sādana dvayam, Nishtha dvayam. Dvayam means two. So Sādana dvayam means, or Yoga dvayam means, two sadhanas are introduced by Bhagavan. This is one major topic that we will look into it. Then Nishtha dvayam. Nishtha means lifestyle. We will see that what is Nishtha later. Now we will see the two sadhanas. Again, these are not two new sadhanas. We have already seen them. Sadhana, what is sadhana? Sadhana means instrument. It is a means. Sadhyam is the goal. Sadhana is the means. So whenever we say to someone, do this sadhana, their immediate question would be, what is the goal? What is the sadhyam? So sadhana is the means to achieve a particular end, which is the sadhyam. So when Bhagavan gives two sadhanas, then immediately what we should know, there should be two sadhyams in the mind. There has to be two sadhyams in his mind, only then there are two sadhanas. Sadhana is basically the path that a person has to take. If you take a path, there has to be a destination. So what are the two paths? Karma Yoga, Jnāna Yoga. Two sadhanas, Karma Yoga and Jnāna Yoga. And what are then the sadhyams, goals for these? First we will see for Jnāna Yoga. For Jnāna Yoga, the goal is the ultimate, Parama Purushartha. Parama Purushartha means the ultimate goal. What is that ultimate goal? Moksha, liberation. Or in Tamil we say Veedu. Aram Porul Inbam Veedu. So if someone follows Jnāna Yoga as a sadhana, he will attain moksha or liberation or mukti. When we say mukti, you will have to understand it. Some people understand mukti to be death. No, we are not talking about that mukti. We are talking about Jivan Mukti. Liberation, ultimate goal, liberation even as the person is living. So this is Jnāna Yoga Sadhyam. And what is Jnāna Yoga itself? Jnāna Yoga is Shravana Manana Nididhyasanam. Shravanam means listening to Shastras. Mananam means reflecting on the teachings. Nididhyasanam is a process where we assimilate that knowledge into and make it into our knowledge, our personality. So Jnana Yoga is Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. Right now what we are doing? Right now we are in a sadhana. This sadhana is called Jnana Yoga because you are doing Shravanam. You are listening to the Shastras. So what is the benefit of Jnana Yoga? Moksha. We can say Ishvara Jnana, Atma Jnana, or we can say Brahma Prapti. All these terms are all referring to only moksha. Somebody says Atma Jnana, Ishvara Jnana, Brahma Prapti, Moksha, Mukti. Everything is called, all mean the same. Now that is for Jnana Yoga. Now what is the sadhyam for Karma Yoga? If one follows Karma Yoga, the goal of Karma Yoga is Jnana Yoga. Or rather, Jnana Yogyata Prapti. Jnana Yogyata Prapti is the benefit of Karma Yoga. So it is like a relay race. The result of Karma Yoga is Jnana Yoga. The benefit of Karma Yoga is that the person qualifies for Jnana Yoga. And by following Jnana Yoga, that person attains Mukti. And this, in fact, Shankaracharya quotes this very often in his commentary. Goal of Karma Yoga is Jnana Yogyata Prapti. Then Jnana Yoga Mukti. So what the scriptures point out is, with regards to the sadhanas, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, these two sadhanas, there is no option. There is no option that I can take Karma Yoga or I can do Jnana Yoga. People, again I told you, right? People say, somebody will say, our scriptures have given various options to the ultimate. Some people can follow Karma Yoga, some people can follow Jnana Yoga, some people can follow Bhakti Yoga, some people can follow Raja Yoga, some people can follow Kundalini Yoga. No. There is no option here. Everyone has to undergo Karma Yoga first and then come to Jnana Yoga. It is like if I want to remove my hunger, I can remove my hunger only by eating. But before eating, I will have to wash my hands. So Karma Yoga is like washing the hands, prepares me for eating. But washing the hands does not remove my hunger. I will have to still eat. And that's how Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga are related. Karma Yoga prepares us for the knowledge. Karma Yoga does not remove samsara. Just by doing Karma Yoga, I cannot say that my samsara is gone. It will reduce, no doubt about it. But it will not be removed. Karma Yoga can never give liberation. Karma Yoga can never give moksha. But at the same time, Karma Yoga alone can give preparation for Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga is a necessary step, but not a sufficient step. Jnana Yogyata Prapti will come through Karma Yoga. And we are all born as Ayogya. Ayogya means Yogyata, there is no we are not, Ayogya means not bad. Ayogya means unfit. We are all born as unfit for Jnana Yoga. We can only make ourselves qualified through Karma Yoga. That's why the scriptures themselves, when they have presented Jnana Yoga, the Jnana Yoga is presented at the end of the Vedas. So initially, that Karma Kanda of the Vedas is where you do all the actions through Karma Yoga and then come to Jnana Yoga. If everybody is fit for Jnana Yoga, then the Jnana Yoga portion should have been in the initial portions of the Vedas itself, in the Veda Purva Bhaga itself. But the Jnana Yoga is in the Veda Anta Bhaga. But what happens if a person comes to Jnana Yoga without doing Karma Yoga? Then there could be some side effects. It is like when the raw material goes to the factory, then from there it goes through a series of process to become the final product. And each process, when it goes through, the process is to actually qualify it for the next process. Process 1 makes the raw material qualify for the process 2. The raw material cannot be directly taken to the process 2 or the step 2. But of course, having said that, there are certain exceptions to the rules. There could be certain people who would have gone straight to Jnana Yoga without performing Karma Yoga. Like Ramana Maharishi, for example. Like Ramana Maharishi, at a very young age, he was interested in Vedanta. He went to Tiruvannamalai. He never did any karma. And he got enlightened. He got moksha. These are exceptions. We call them as spiritual genius. Just like Ramanujam was a mathematics genius, without going through regular teaching or understanding, he was able to perform or he was able to do all kinds of mathematical problems, solve all kinds of mathematical problems. But we cannot take the exception as the rule. So, what we have to understand is, if we have to understand how are these exceptions created, then Shastras do explain. Shastra says, they would have gone through these earlier stages in their previous life, in their earlier lives. They would have gone through this Karma Yoga also, not in this life, but in previous Janmas. So it is not that they have never done Karma Yoga, it is just that in this life they have not done Karma Yoga. Or they need not do Karma Yoga because they have already performed that action or performed that sadhana in their previous lives. What is Karma Yoga? Karma Yoga is religious life. Do not take Vedanta to be different from, this philosophy is different from religion. It is not how things work in our Shastras. Vedanta or philosophy and religion go hand in hand. When we say Karma Yoga, it is a religious life. How? We will see it in this chapter. This third chapter is an important chapter where all aspects of Karma Yoga will be discussed. Now what happens in Karma Yoga? It helps us to prepare the mind. It helps us to qualify ourselves for Jnana Yoga. What is the qualification needed? The qualification needed is Chitta Shuddhi, purity of mind. Purity of mind is given by Karma Yoga. And once we have this purity of mind, when we go to Jnana Yoga, we listen, we are able to understand, we are able to reflect, we are able to assimilate, it becomes our knowledge, we attain moksha. So Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, there is no option for anyone. Both are necessary steps. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga is impossible without Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is incomplete without Jnana Yoga. So this we have to remember. So this is Sadhana Dvayam. Sadhana Dvayam. Now, there is another topic that Bhagavan introduces here. The second topic is Nishtha Dvayam. Nishtha Dvayam means lifestyles. There are two types of lifestyles or two ashramas. Bhagavan uses this word Nishtha. This Nishtha means lifestyle, Nishtha means ashrama. Keep remembering this, otherwise when we read this sloka, we will not be able to relate them. Because we have always understood as ashrama. So here Bhagavan has used Nishtha as a word to denote ashrama or lifestyle. Two Nishthas. What are those two Nishthas? Pravritti Nishtha, Nivritti Nishtha. Pravritti Marga, Nivritti Marga. Pravritti Marga means it's nothing but Grihastha-ashrama. Grihastha-ashrama means householder lifestyle. Householder lifestyle. Predominantly us. Then Nivritti Marga. Nivritti Marga means Sannyasa Ashrama. Sannyasa Ashrama is renunciate, life of a renunciate, monkhood. And Bhagavan says, I have introduced two lifestyles for people here. Grihastha Ashrama, householder lifestyle, and Sannyasa Ashrama, a renunciate's lifestyle. In other words, an active social lifestyle. A Grihastha Ashrama person is an active person. He's got socially active, that kind of a lifestyle. Then for a sannyasi, it's a relatively passive, secluded lifestyle. So two types of lifestyle. Now the question could be, why should Bhagavan split the marga into two, as in pravritti and nivritti? Why should he split it that way? In other words, why should he have it Grihastha Ashrama and Sannyasa Ashrama? Why should there be two types of lifestyles? So the answer is, to follow the given sadhanas, the two sadhanas, to follow Karma Yoga, to follow Jnāna Yoga, Bhagavan has given two lifestyles. One lifestyle for each sadhana. Which one is what? It's easy for us to answer. Grihastha-ashrama lifestyle is designed for Karma Yoga. And Sannyasa-ashrama is designed for Jnāna Yoga. So Grihastha-ashrama, when for a person to do Karma Yoga, it's easy. The lifestyle is designed in such a way that doing Karma Yoga becomes easy. Similarly, the Sannyasa Ashrama is designed in such a way that doing Jnāna Yoga becomes easy. Now question could arise in us, if that is the case, we are all Grihasthas, how come we are doing Jnāna Yoga now? We'll keep it that later, we'll come to it later. How come we are doing Jnāna Yoga even when we are only Grihasthas? We'll come to that later. But let's come to this. Bhagavan says, do not confuse Nishthas and Sādanas. Do not confuse between what is your yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnāna Yoga, and Ashrama, Grihastha Ashrama, Sannyasa Ashrama. Do not have any confusion. We have already said these sadhanas, there are no options. Now, question comes, if moksha is the goal, then we already said sadhanas are compulsory. Is the nishtha compulsory? The lifestyle, is it compulsory? What should we follow to get moksha? Should we follow the lifestyle? Should we follow the sadhana? The answer is, nishtha does not determine moksha. the type of lifestyle that you have do not determine moksha. Just because somebody follows a grihastha ashrama, I am a householder, and therefore, just because he does that, he will not get moksha. Similarly, just because somebody has taken up sannyasa, it is not certain that he will get moksha. So who will get moksha? Only the person who follows the two sadhanas, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, only that person will get moksha. The lifestyle is something that Bhagavan has created to be able to follow the sadhanas easily, effectively. The sadhanas determine moksha, not the nishtas. The nishtas are not compulsory also. For example, if a person is actually a householder, grihastha, for some time, and then he takes up sannyasa, and then when he dies as a sannyasi. Just because he has followed these two ashramas does not mean that he's got moksha. What matters is whether he has done Karma Yoga when he was a grihastha person, when he was in grihastha ashrama, and then when he took up sannyasa nishtha, did he perform Jnana Yoga? And if he had performed both correctly and completely, then he would have attained moksha. So just because somebody enters that nishtha does not mean they would have done that sadhana also. Somebody takes up sannyasa does not mean that they have actually completed Karma Yoga. We cannot decide on that. Sadhana is compulsory, nishtha does not determine moksha or the completion of the sadhana. Then why should Bhagavan give two nishtas? Again, we'll park it, we'll come back to it later. Why did Bhagavan give two nishtas? So now, what we have to understand is, there are two sadhanas, there are two nishtas. This is Bhagavan's answer here in this sloka. Now, if we look at the answer, Bhagavan's response to Arjuna's question, it does not relate at all. But he says, there are two nishtas and two sadhanas that I have determined. What does it mean is, there are two sadhanas, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga gives moksha. Karma Yoga makes one qualified for Jnana Yoga. Arjuna, you need to qualify yourself, and therefore you will have to do Karma Yoga and then come to Jnana Yoga. That is the answer that we should imply. This sloka implies. We should sort of understand from this. And it's not easy to understand. That's why we first understand what Bhagavan implies in this sloka, and then we come to the sloka. Again, Arjuna too will have to arrive at this answer. From the intent of sloka, from whatever Bhagavan says, Arjuna himself should also understand and arrive at this intent. We will have to derive that. Now, let's read the sloka. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Bhagavan said, Lokesmin dvivida nishta. Loke asmin. Asmin loke. Asmin loke means in this world. To be precise, in this human world. In this manushya loke. Loke asmin dvivida nishta. Twofold discipline. Twofold lifestyle. Dvivida nishta. Two types of lifestyle. Two ashramas. Pura prokta maya naga. Pura prokta. Pura means in the beginning. Prokta maya. Maya means has. Prokta maya means has been initiated by me. In this world, twofold discipline has been initiated by me. When? Pura. In the beginning. Beginning of what? Beginning of the creation. So Bhagavan says, then there is also anaga. Pura prokta maya anaga. Anaga means, anaga is the word that Bhagavan uses here to call Arjuna. Anaga means sinless one, a person who has not committed sins. So Bhagavan says, O sinless one, O Arjuna, in this world, twofold discipline has been initiated by me in the beginning of the creation. This is the meaning of the first line. Now, the second line, Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yoginam. Jnana Yogena means in the form of Jnāna Yōga. Being in the sadhana of Jñāna Yōga. Jnāna Yogena for who? Jnāna Yoga has been designed for who? Sankhyanam. Sankhyanam means for the Sankhyas. We will see that. That Karma Yogena Yoginam. Karma Yogena means in the form of Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga for who? For Yoginam. Yoginam here means for the householders, for the people in Grihastha Ashrama. So Jnāna Yogena Sankhyanam means Jnāna Yoga, in the form of Jnāna Yoga for sannyasis, and Karma Yoga for the householders. So that is the meaning of this shloka. So it does not answer Arjuna's question, but we'll have to derive, we'll have to understand. But what Bhagavan says, O sinless one, in this world, twofold discipline has been initiated by me in the beginning of creation, in the form of Jnāna Yoga for the sannyasis, and in the form of Karma Yoga for the householders. So this is what Bhagavan says. Now one question could come to us. Bhagavan says, in the beginning of the creation, but wasn't Krishna born to Vasudeva only some years ago? How could he have said that he has designed this at the beginning of creation? After all, Krishna was born only as Arjuna's contemporary. And how could he have done this before? Arjuna will also have the same doubt. But that doubt he will ask that in the chapter 4, where Bhagavan will be this. When Bhagavan says, I was the one who taught all this to Surya Bhagavan. At that time, Arjuna will raise the same question. How is it that you are born as my contemporary? How could you have taught Surya Bhagavan in the beginning of the creation? And then Bhagavan will clarify by giving the Avatara Tattva. That we will see in the 4th chapter. So now we'll again park this again now. Now we will take Maya Pura Prokta Maya Naga. Maya here, when Bhagavan says Maya, he does not mean Krishna, he means Ishvara. Here Bhagavan refers to himself as Ishvara. That is what we have to understand. So here Bhagavan's upadesha is Ishvara Rupena Upadesha. Now there could be another question also. He says he gave those 2 nishtas and 2 sadhanas at the beginning of the creation. Where did he give this? Where are these documented. Where is this information? When he said that he had given these 2 nishtas and 2 sadhanas at the beginning of the creation. What we have to do is, we will have to add that Veda Dwara, through Vedas. So what we have to understand is, I gave this upadesha through Vedas. What is Vedas? Vedas are the breath of Ishvara. We call the Vedas as the breath of Ishvara, as in Tamil we say Moochukatru. Ishvara's breath is Vedas. So, which came first? Vedas or Ishvara? They are coexist. So, at the beginning of the creation, I, the Ishvara, through the Vedas, have given the 2 lifestyles for human beings. Question is, what are Vedas? Vedas are nothing but our manual to lead our lives. Whenever we buy anything from the shop, we always get a book or a pamphlet along with it, which is called as the manual. Whether we buy any kind of a food processor or a vacuum cleaner or whatever it is, we get a manual along with it. If we do not understand it, or if we do not read it properly, we will not be able to use it properly. In the same way, Bhagavan, when he has created this world, he had also made these Vedas telling us how we will have to handle this world. How you can make use of this world for your spiritual growth. What to expect, what not to expect from this world. All these have been already given in the Vedas. How to manage the world. That's all there. Vedas is the manual for this creation, for the world, for us. Some people say Vedas are actually, not practical. These are all old school. It's not relevant for today's world. It comes out of a warped understanding. It is a contradiction. And it is actually self-defeating to think that, because when we are saying that to ourselves, we are actually closing the doors on Vedas, which will actually help us to lead a better life. What are the Vedas? In this world, we have come in this world through prarabdha karma. There are certain things that we cannot change. We cannot do anything to change. We cannot change our parents. There are so many other things that we cannot change. But in the case of how we have to live, what sort of lifestyle, how we have to actually deal with this world, in what way we can derive the full benefit from this world, that is all available only in Vedas. So we have to understand that. So here Bhagavan says, I have prescribed 2 lifestyles through the Vedas for performing the 2 sadhanas. Now there could be another question from people. We had studied 4 ashramas. Brahmacharya ashrama, Grahastha ashrama, Vanaprastha ashrama and Sannyasa ashrama. How come Bhagavan mentions only 2 ashramas here? What we have to understand is Bhagavan has consolidated the 2 ashramas into 2. One is pravritti, another one is nivritti. What happens in Brahmacharya ashrama is, in Brahmacharya ashrama we are supposed to study what is dharma, what is adharma. We have to study that. And in Grahastha ashrama, we live according to dharma and adharma, which means we follow dharma, we avoid adharma. So these 2 are one together, called as pravritti nishta. Pravritti nishta. Brahmacharya and Grahastha ashrama. You study, you implement. Because nivritti means to give up, renunciate. To renounce is not easy. And to renounce cannot be sudden also. It has to be done step by step only. Therefore, first we go into Vanaprastha ashrama. From Grihastha ashrama, it's not direct to sannyasa, it goes into Vanaprastha. And then from Vanaprastha only to sannyasa. These two nishtas are called as Nivritti nishtas, where you start giving up. Once you, from householder, or you get into a retired life, you give up responsibilities. There's no responsibility for you to manage the family expenses, family things, because you're retired. You give up the keys of the house, managing the responsibilities are given to the next generation. So you move into the Nivritti Nishta. So if you look at it, which are the two most opposing ends of lifestyle? If we talk about two most opposing ends of lifestyle is Grihastha and Sannyasa. One, Grihastha is a very active social lifestyle. The other one is very passive, very secluded lifestyle. So Bhagavan talks about introducing two lifestyles. And in the first line he says, Lokesmin Dvida Nishta. Then in the second line he talks about introducing two sadhanas. Jñāna Yōga, Karma Yōga. Two sadhanas. So Nishta Dvayam, Sadhana Dvayam. Jñāna Yōga, being in the sadhana of Jñāna Yōga. For who? Sankhyas, for sannyasis, for people in Nivritti Nishta, for renunciates. Then Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga for Yoginam, for the householders, for Grihastha ashrama, for people in Pravritti Nishta Marga. What is Karma Yoga? Karma Yoga and is also activity based. So it's basically Karma Pradhana. So Grihastha ashrama is Karma Pradhana ashrama. Sannyasa ashrama is specifically for Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga means it is designed for knowledge, and ultimate benefit is moksha. Now, how do we know whether we had a full, contented, fulfilling life? When somebody, when they are nearing death, if you ask that person and that person says, I am contented, I am happy to leave this body. Not happy to leave this body because I am frustrated and therefore I want to leave this body. I am frustrated with my lifestyle, so I will be happy to leave this body. Not that kind of happy to leave this body. But if a person says, I am contented, I am happy to leave this body, neither do I have a feeling of attachment. So some people have this, I have to let this go and go. I cannot leave my family. I cannot leave my children. I cannot leave my house. Not with that feeling. So there is no feeling of attachment. There is no feeling of sadness also. That I am leaving all these people behind, all these things behind. I had accumulated so many things from my travel, kept them as my mementos and things around my house. I have to let go of all these things and leave the body. Not that kind of a feeling. Nor is there kind of a hatred. I don't like these people. Therefore I want to quit this world, and I want to get away from these people, and therefore I'm happy to die. Not that kind of a feeling. Nor is there kind of a sadness. Nobody likes me. I am feeling left out. I am happy that I will be, if I die. Not that kind of people. Not that kind of sadness. Not that kind of sadness also where people are actually waiting for me to die. People are actually waiting so that I can vacate this place. They will get this room back for their family. Not that kind of feeling. The reflection at the end of the life will tell us how much of sadhanas we have performed, how much we have spiritually gained. if one follows these sadhanas, these lifestyles properly, Shastras assure that you will leave the body happily. You would leave this body in a contented manner. And if you had attained moksha, if you had already attained mukti, as in jnana, Shastras also give you this added benefit of videha mukti. You will not be born again. That is what Shastras promise. So these are the schemes given by Bhagavan. Sannyasa ashrama for Jnana Yoga, Grihastha ashrama for Karma Yoga. Now, we will do some vichara. You might get some doubts or there could be some confusion. What two lifestyles Bhagavan has said? Householder, renunciate. Two sadhanas, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga. What should one do? As a householder, one should perform Panchamaha Yajnas. What is Panchamaha Yajna? We will come to that later in this chapter also. We will describe that. Third chapter, we'll go that in detail. As a householder, one must earn money, or one should earn money. One should perform dana. One should donate. One should perform yajnas, pujas, all those things as a householder. As a renunciate, as a sannyasi, a sannyasi need not cook. They can take bhiksha, they can actually beg for food, it's allowed. They need not earn money, they should not earn money. Bhagavan says, if you are a householder, perform this sadhana Karma Yoga. If you are a sannyasi, you perform this sadhana called Jnana Yoga. Because as a sannyasi, because you are not cooking, you are not earning, you have more time to study. Your focus is only on studying Sravana Manana Nididhyasana. But what is the confusion is, some people give importance to lifestyle. And just by taking that lifestyle, it is equivalent to performing that sadhana. That confusion is there. Arjuna has the same confusion here. Arjuna did not give importance to the sadhanas. He said, he did not mention Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. He said Jnana Yoga and Karma action. He didn't talk about, he was more mentioning about the lifestyle. He wanted to take up sannyasa. His thought, and which is the thought of many people who are in the state of depression or desperation, or some people who had got fed up with so-called the life that they have. They think that a sannyasa lifestyle would save them from samsara. I am having so many problems at home, and therefore if I probably take up sannyasa, all these problems would go away. Which means what? I will be free from samsara. That understanding is a wrong understanding. Just because you have the lifestyle does not give you the freedom from samsara. Bhagavan says lifestyle by itself does not give the goal that you are looking for. People think that this householder lifestyle, this is so suffocating. And therefore, if I actually take up sannyasa, I become free. The freedom from samsara. It does not happen that way. Lifestyle does not give you the sadhyam. Just by being in sannyasa ashrama does not give you chitta shuddhi or moksha or freedom from samsara. And therefore, suppose if somebody says, someone is ignoring the Nishtha. I am not worried about the Nishtha, that's all. Whether I am in Grihastha Ashrama or Sannyasa Ashrama, it doesn't matter. Say I am in Grihastha Ashrama, I perform this Karma Yoga properly, I get Chitta Shuddhi, and then maybe due to Prarabdha, I am not able to take up Sannyasa Ashrama, which is the one which is most conducive for Jnana Yoga, say. But I am not able to take up Sannyasa Ashrama, but continue to be in Grihastha Ashrama. But being a householder, I am able to do Jnana Yoga as a sadhana. I can still attain moksha. There is no reason for you to feel that you need to be in Sannyasa Ashrama only to attain moksha. So for us, if we say, if you are doing karma, being in Grihastha Ashrama, if you are still doing Jnana Yoga, it is still okay, because you are not going to be losing out. Because what is important is sadhana, not the lifestyle. Janaka is a great example. Again, Bhagavan will mention Janaka's name also here, in this chapter later on. Janaka was a Raja, was a king. He was a Raja Rishi. He was actually a Jnani. But he did not give up his responsibility. For us, it's only responsibility of a family. Janaka had a responsibility of both family as well as the kingdom. And yet, in the midst of all those activities, he did both sadhanas. He became a Karma Yogi, he attained Chitta Shuddhi, he became a Jnana Yogi, he attained Jnana Nishtha. That, which means one can attain this sadhyams, whatever be the lifestyle that he chooses. And the best tribute to actually Janaka Raja is when Vedavyasa sent his son Sukha Brahman to Raja Janaka for studying Vedanta. Vedavyasa sent his son Sukha Brahman to Janaka Maharaja, because Janaka Maharaja was so respected that everybody knew that he had attained moksha. So the two lifestyles do not determine moksha, only the two sadhanas determine moksha. This is very important for us to remember. Just because somebody takes up sannyasa ashrama does not mean that they have completed Karma Yoga. Just because somebody dies the life as a renunciate does not mean they have attained moksha. Just because somebody has died as a householder does not mean that he has not attained moksha also. Lifestyles do not determine that. So here Arjuna, if he thinks he will fight this war, he thinks that by fighting this war he will not get moksha. More on this we will see in the next class. Any questions or comments? We'll see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.